some would argue it's a social experiment. We had the government tell us what was the best way to eat.
The pyramid.
And as a result,
We have every disease you can even think about.
We're only talking about type 2 diabetes. And this is something that has been going on for probably it's really grown over the last 50 years. Just like
Since the early 60s.
It's gone up.
Yeah. Early
way
60s.
Crazy.
Yep.
And, some would argue it's a social experiment that, we did this whole nutrition. We had the government tell us what was the best way to eat to care for our bodies. They did.
They called it the pyramid.
Food guide
They
pyramid.
called it the pyramid.
And as a result,
We have every disease you can even think about.
lots of problems.
We've got them now.
There is a huge piece that has to do with our nutrition. And so we're going to talk a little bit today about sort of whose responsibility is it at this point? Like, where does all of this land when we're talking about why we're all struggling so desperately with diabetes as a society?
Yeah. I want to take full responsibility for myself. So I might be a little bit, maybe I'm harder. Maybe it's exactly where I need to be, because when you know better, you do better. But you got to know better. Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, we didn't know better. We really didn't.
Right.
We believed that pyramid so much that we just obeyed. At least I know I did.
Yeah,
I
course.
did every single thing that they said I should do on that pyramid. And it's funny because now they're reversing the pyramid. The pyramid's upside down, but
not quite. It's a plate.
Well,
now.
not quite. That's right.
It's actually a plate.
That's
they would have to admit a lot of wrong
It's a
in
plate.
order to reverse the. I mean, if they were willing to,
oh my gosh,
come right out and say, "Wow, guys, we really blew it. We thought we knew, and wow, no, we're going to change it," and they were kind of owning it. I think people would be more open to that, because everybody makes mistakes, right? And if I said, you know what, I realized I really had your best interest at heart. I did this because I really believe that to be the best that we could do. And now see 40 years later, the results of that, it's not that at all. New research has come out, blah, 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 blah. We did not give you the right information.
But to be honest with you, Jamie, personally, I believe they've known this for years.
Yeah.
Because now it became a moneymaker.
Yeah.
And in order to keep that money flowing and getting bigger and badder, they had to stick with it and make it even worse, a matter of fact, because then they were making it worse because it was making more money.
Right.
So,
I mean, and we can talk some about that, because that's a legitimate point. When we think about, all of these pieces, they don't all talk to each other. Okay, so it's not like this grand conspiracy where the patients, the doctors, the pharmaceuticals, the government all conspire to. It's not like that. There's this big they, and this them, and the stuff that's over, and you don't quite understand what's happening, or you can't trace back to like what's happening.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, if I start to have issues with my health and I go and get checked and my doctor's like, "Hey, your blood glucose is high," I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
First of all, I don't even know what you mean by blood glucose. What are you talking about? Right? How many people really understand how insulin works in the body, how the blood glucose is spiked or not spiked, what that does to your insides? How many people really understand what that's about? I mean, I would say a lot more than used to.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they don't. They eat what's healthy, or they think it's healthy, or they don't. And whatever it is whatever it is. So there's something to be said for us as people, individual, and then patients. We need to take responsibility for our own health.
Absolutely.
And go find answers. And there has been story after story by the tens of thousands of people who doctors told them to do something and they said, I knew it wasn't the right thing for me. I just knew I shouldn't have. And they knew it wasn't what their body needed. They knew it. But we are trained to doubt ourselves and follow what they say and all of that. So there is something to be said for 2025 where we can access information ourselves, the same kind of information, that your doctor gets on the computer and looks up while you're in their office with them? Right? Does that happen to anybody? Put a thumbs up if this has happened to you. You're in your doctor's office.
Yes.
And you give them some symptoms or something. And they go on their computer and they start searching up different things. And they come back and say, oh, and this cluster of symptoms, let's look at this or that. They're looking that stuff up. They don't know everything. How can they?
That's true. That's true. And then you got the doctors that don't look up that stuff.
Right.
They don't do any research. And that's where you come in. You've got to be the one that does your research.
Yeah.
How many times have you taken medication in your life and it doesn't make you feel any better?
Right.
I mean, you got to just see there's, and you keep telling that doctor, but I don't feel any better. I don't feel different.
Yeah.
You don't.
But that's what's prescribed. When you say this, we give you that.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. And guess what? I learned that they're there to prescribe.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big hit for me.
You've probably heard about intermittent fasting. You've maybe even tried it. Maybe it didn't work out for you. Maybe you didn't get great results. Or maybe you just need a reset. But either way, we've got this free intermittent fasting guide for you. It's got lots of colorful pictures and lots of information with a 2-week plan to get you started intermittent fasting and enjoying the amazing benefits. So check the link below if you're watching YouTube, and if you're on the podcast, check the show notes. Get that link.
And it's easier than you think.
Yeah, so go get it.
I have a wonderful doctor that's honest enough to tell me certain things, and I'll tell you, and it's only because I do my research, not as a braggadocious, but as my health. I need to do the research, and because I bring it to him, he knows I know what I'm talking about. And when he knew that, there was no sense in him fighting or resisting that. Right. And then I got the facts that, hey, listen, I'm here to prescribe. Yeah. If you don't take the medication,
it's not going to be covered.
It's not going to be covered.
Not going to do that.
They're not going to do this.
The other stuff that you need.
That's right. And I learned all that, and I said, "Whoa,
it's a system.
It's a system.
Yeah.
It's a system." And so now, what Jamie was mentioning about where are you? Where's your heart? Where's your, where do you stand? Are you courageous?
Your responsibility.
Are you where you coming from in this realm of things, and are you going to be honest enough to say what's so? And you really need to know yourself.
Well, okay, so to tie this in with scripture, right? So, the story of the Bereans, and they listened to all of the words that were preached to them. They heard it all, and even though they believed the person speaking, they still went back. And the scripture says the Bereans were of a more noble people. Even after they heard all that had been said, they went back and they searched the scriptures to make sure that what they were told was true.
That's right.
So even like, this is my mom. She tells me, hey, Jamie, this or that. I'm going to believe her. Like, she's proven to be trustworthy. When she tells me something, I'm going to believe her. But even though she's telling me, I still have to, at the end of the day, go back and make sure that what she's saying is true, because it ends with me. Personal responsibility.
Right.
And I think if we take that on more individually from our doctors, if your doctors say, hey, this and this and this, well, show me what I can look up. How can I feel confident in what you're saying? Give me some research, some statistics. Teach me, tell me. And then go back and look it up. That's why we have second opinions before people do rash surgeries and rash treatments. They go get a second or third opinion. Why? Don't take someone's word for it. You gotta double check. So that's the first call is for us. The first call is for us as individuals to take personal responsibility for our own health. Right? We've talked about take your temple back. What is your temple? What is your temple?
Your body. God created it.
Yes.
We keep trashing it.
Correct. So
like
you have a temple that you're treating any kind of way, and you know who you are. Like, we all have to take an honest look. This is not a judgment conversation, This is not condemnation. This is not you're this or that. No. This is an observation, and it's an invitation that each one of us can take some reflective thinking on ourselves and say, okay, where am I falling short? Or where am I glorifying God with my temple? How can I? What can I? It's an honest look. Take inventory of yourself and where you're at and what you've been doing.
And
that's the invitation.
And it really just bases down to respect. We're glorifying God when we take charge of doing our research to see what's going on. But it's respect. It's respect for this perfect creation. So it brings it even.
But when you say perfect, I'm sorry. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, perfect.
This is I know exactly what
Perfect.
she's saying. But I am a word. Yeah, I'm about make sure it's clear what we're saying, right? Our bodies are not perfect. They never will be. So not that kind of perfect.
It's created perfect.
The word perfect might rub people because we're fallen. Perfection is gone. Like this is way back in the garden. It's over. We're never going to be perfect. But what she means is God gave us the body complete. It is complete as he gave it. So whatever you do to it after that, that's what you did and what you're doing.
And that's perfect.
Yeah, and that's what she means by perfect. Yeah. It's not, anyway. So you're saying we have this body God has given us. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with it? Are you even going to take the time to figure out what to do with it, right? Or are you just going to whatever? So that's the first call, is to do something about respecting and also reverencing and having awe and reverence for your body as something special, amazing, and important, and a gift. And so the gift it reflects the giver. God created us and gave us this body. This is a gift. We want to take care of it in a very special way.